Welcome to the latest LB Talking Points video. This one will be focused on employee benefits and Forms P11D and P11DB. My name's Jayne Tressler and I'm a Business Services Manager at Lewis Brownlee, looking after a team of people that deal with the accounts, corporation tax, VAT returns, among other items on behalf of clients during the year. I'm joined by Lewis Pridgeon, the Tax Compliance Manager, and Lewis spends his time looking after individuals, their self-assessment and other tax-related matters. So, Lewis, do you want to give us a bit of a background into why we have Forms P11D?
Yeah, so Form P11D are used to report taxable benefits, and benefits are typically when an asset of a value is given to an employee or when an employer pays for something on behalf of an employee. The main objective is to ensure PAYE taxes can't be bypassed. The P11D is the name of the form that taxable benefits are reported on.
And when do we need to get these returns completed into HMRC by?
The deadline is the 6th of July after the relevant tax year, although as long as the Class 1 national insurance is paid by the 19th of July, there should be no penalties charged. You'll get a penalty if your P11D is late. The penalty is £100 per 50 employees for each month it is late. And you'll also be charged penalties and interest if you're late paying the national insurance over to HMRC.
So it's quite a hefty penalty regime, this one, isn't it? £100 every month it's late. It's not just a one-off £100 for being late.
For being late, yeah, every month.
Okay, so here we've got a few frequently asked questions that we just run through. These are based on what clients quite often come and ask us. So first off, if we provide our employees with medical cover, how would we deal with that?
So medical cover can be given to an employee via a deduction in the payroll, potentially, that will collect the national insurance on the employer. If it's just given as so if the employee doesn't pay anything towards it, then it will be put on the P11D and taxable on the employee, and the employer will pay the national insurance on that on the P11DB form.
And then we're asked all the time by our clients, is it worth having a company car? How expensive is that going to be? What's your feelings on that?
Oh, that one depends on how the car is powered. Petrol and diesel cars are very highly taxed at the moment, but they're very favourable rates for electric cars. Vans can also be tax efficient, but the main design function of the vehicle should be to convoy goods and not people.
Yeah, that's a good point. What about if we want to provide memberships to our employees for golf clubs and gyms, for example? Are they going to be a taxable benefit?
Usually, yes. If an employee is provided access to facilities, regardless as to whether they use this, then there's usually a benefit in kind. There is an exemption for gym facilities that are provided at the workplace.
And if I'm a director of my company but I want to give my spouse the benefit, could I avoid the tax in that way?
No, if you are giving it to a spouse, then you would be taxed on it as the worker.
So talk us around how the liabilities to NIC are assessed.
If a benefit is arranged by the employer, then generally the employer pays the Class 1 NIC and the employee is not liable for NIC. However, if the employer pays something that's in the employee's name, then adjustment through the payroll will be required to collect both employee and employer national insurance.
And if I don't want to be caught by the need to report benefits on a Forms P11D, what are my other options?
You can make good the benefit, so repay it for the value that the benefit is. Also, if you're a company director, you can debit the amount to your director's loan account, and therefore nothing will need to be reported on the P11D.
And that needs to be done before the 6th of July, following the end of the tax year?
That does, yes.
And have we got some other options?
You can payroll benefits, such as we spoke about earlier. The private medical cover can go in the deductions part of the salary, which basically is making it good. You've also got PAYE settlement arrangements, which are suitable for employers that are happy to settle the tax and national insurance on the employee's behalf. This, though, needs to be applied for by the 5th of July with HMRC.
Okay, so at least if we realise after the tax year as an employer that we've provided a benefit that we didn't realise would create a tax liability and an NIC liability for our employees, at least that gives us an option to settle that as a business rather than create a liability for our employees. Exactly,
yeah. So you're just taking the charge on their behalf.
And there are some benefits we can provide to employees that aren't taxable and don't need to be reported. Do you want to just run down a few of those?
Yeah, so the main ones that are usually not taxable or exempt are trivial benefits. That's if no more than £50 not in cash, and the payment is irregular and not for a reward or service, then that can be kept off the P11D. Mobile phone that is provided by a company. Reimbursements of expenses incurred wholly, exclusively and necessarily for the business are also exempt from being reported. Certain flat rate expenses when paid within acceptable parameters, and the £6 working from home allowance, that's £6 per week. If you're working from home, you can claim that, and that's not put on the P11D.
So the reimbursement of expenses, we're talking about when an employee goes out and buys some stamps or milk for the office, or
or travels to a client and claims the fuel or the mileage for that. So anything that's business related.
Okay, and flat rate expenses, they can be things like subsistence flat rate expenses when you're working away from the office.
Yeah, so you've also got the uniform expenses as well, and you can get the subscriptions for professional bodies. They can be included on there as well.
Great. Can you talk us through what we mean by a salary sacrifice arrangement?
Yep, the salary sacrifice is where the employer reduces the employee's salary and pays for something on their behalf. This is usually done through the salary, so through the payroll, and comes off the gross salary in most circumstances. The rules have been tightened recently, so they have restricted what benefits can be done through salary sacrifice. It's still worth thinking about this in connection to pension payments. Is a good one. There's not much else because they've restricted it that we can put through at the moment.
So that kind of brings us to the end of our slides. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up today, Lewis?
I did. I was just going to mention about employment-related securities. These are another reporting requirement where shares are issued by a company to an employee in connection with their employment. Mm-hmm. And this type of transaction has the same filing deadline, which is the 6th of July.
Okay, so we just need to make sure if any employees have been issued the shares, we check whether we need to fill in that form and submit that to HMRC by the 6th of July too.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the end of our slides and our short presentation on employee benefits. If you do have any further questions or you need any help with your Forms P11D, please obviously contact the office or drop Lewis or I an email. Details are shown on the slide. Thanks very much for taking the time to watch today.
Thank you.